Hey, Pretty Girl Club. Welcome back to the Beluga series. I am just cooking my vegetables right now in my air fryer, and I wanted to talk about how a lot of women are fat because they don't believe in themselves. But one of the talking points that people try to give to me is, why do you guys care so much about being pretty? Why do you care so much about being skinny? The world doesn't revolve around that. You should be focusing on making money. You should be focused on so many other things. And it's like, bitch, if I can make money, if I can become successful in my career, why can't I also be skinny at the same time? And also, why are you so worried about my level up journey? Why are you so obsessed with my life? That's actually proof that I am being placed on a pedestal. That's proof that you place skinny bodies on a pedestal. Because you would not be so obsessed with tracking what skinny women are doing if you enjoyed your own body. And I hear people saying, Exoticals United, oh, she has an ED. She's overeating and then she's starving herself. First of all, if somebody truly has an ED, why would you go online and attempt to bully them for having an ED? Don't you think that that would make their ED worse? So that's how I know that people that talk shit about channels where we talk about being thin, they are not speaking in good faith. They don't actually care about us. This is fake outrage. Because if somebody is so concerned about EDs, are you talking about the hundreds of thousands of other women throughout society who actually are proven to have EDs? Or are you only coming for channels that speak about pretty privilege, privilege stacking, and being skinny? Do you see the hypocrisy? And if you're so happy in your body, why do you worry about what I do with mine? If you're so beautiful and gorgeous and confident and you're living such a soft life, why would you be so concerned about a community of women who wants to lose weight? The real reason why some women are mad at us being thin is because they don't want us to be admired. That's what it is. They feel like, how dare you actually seek after being admired in society? How dare you actually look good and know you look good and love yourself out loud? That's cocky. You're being conceited. And for the people who think we're conceited, bitch, we earned it. You don't get to determine how much self-esteem we get to have. You don't get to control our thoughts. You don't get to control our narrative. If we want to be skinny, that's exactly what we're going to do. Also, I find it interesting how people have so much crap to talk about skinny people. But if you look online, go look at the women who are overweight right now. Go look at them telling their story times of what their everyday life is like. Go listen to them talk about how much discrimination they're facing. We are women of color on this channel. So trust me, we know all about discrimination and we do not want to face any more of it. So if I have the option to control something like my weight, if I can control the foods I eat, then why would I choose to suffer? Why would I choose suffering? And then for the people who are like, oh, well, it's shallow. It's like, okay, society is shallow. So just because you choose to stay in the background, just because you choose to be an NPC in your own life, just because you choose to be an extra sitting on the sidelines, shouting from the abyss, lurking from the shadows of the internet, all of us don't want to do that. Some of us were born to stand out. Some of us were born to be a star. Okay, so if you weren't born to be a star, that's fine. Just go ahead and stay in the audience where you belong. Go ahead and stay in the comment section where you belong. And then let us be over here leveling up. Okay, I don't see how you can hate from outside of the club. You can't even get in. There's always somebody who has not met their own body goals who wants to try to tell you, as a woman who has met your body goals, there's always somebody who's out here in a struggle body. She's out here walking around, stomach looks a mess, face looks a mess, side profile looks a mess, three-quarter profile looks a mess, underneath her chin looks a mess, cheeks are swollen. So there's always somebody who looks crazy, who has the audacity to try to control other women's bodies. And it's like, if me being thin is an act of rebellion, then so be it. Because I've never met a girl who changed the world without breaking any rules. So this channel is all about breaking social norms, it's all about breaking the rules, and it's all about the dark psychology of the society we live in. So just because you choose not to have pretty privilege, just because you choose to be fat, that doesn't mean we have to choose that. I don't want to walk around with a whole bunch of micro insecurities. I don't want to walk around and have sweaty armpits and in between my boobs are sweating and then my butt is sweating. My thighs are rubbing together. It's 80 degrees and I can't even enjoy my summer. I try to wear a bodycon dress and my dress is drenched because I've got so much fat rubbing together every time I take a step. And another crazy excuse that I hear is people will be like, oh, but it's fun to eat unhealthy foods. Yeah, it is fun, but it's not as fun as thin privilege. I'm just being honest. Having thin privilege is way more fun than eating cupcakes. I can tell you, as someone that's experienced both, that having thin privilege, having a body I've always wanted to have, being able to wear whatever I want to wear, I can wear a strapless top, like having that amount of freedom is way more fun than eating a cupcake and tasting it for a couple of seconds. First of all, I can tell you from experience that if you eat a whole bunch of sugar, it's going to make your stomach hurt. So you're telling me that it's more fun to eat a bunch of sugar, your stomach's hurting, your collagen's breaking down. That's more fun than being at a healthy weight? And I think a lot of people are triggered by this community because this is a safe space for pretty privileged women. This is a safe space for women who are not afraid to love ourselves out loud. We're not afraid to go after what we want, because even if we were fat, thin privilege still exists. I feel like some people, they want you to be fat, they want you to be average because they feel like that's the right thing to do. And it's like, no, society doesn't function based on morals, first of all. And just because you don't have that thin privilege, somebody's going to get that pedestal. Somebody is going to receive thin privilege. Somebody is going to receive pretty privilege. So just because you choose not to, that doesn't mean that us women over here aren't receiving it. So I think that part of why people are so triggered by this channel is because it confirms their deepest insecurities. And that's why I tell people, do not come to this channel if you have low self-esteem, low confidence. You know, if my YouTube video, if all it takes is a YouTube video from a random faceless person, if all it takes is that to destroy your self-esteem, then you didn't have any self-esteem. So that's why I say don't subscribe if you're already struggling with like your identity, or if you have an inferiority complex. This channel is not for people who feel inferior. This channel is for women who have no problem admitting to themselves what their flaws are, and they want to change those flaws. So yes, I do consider being at an unhealthy weight. I consider that to be a flaw on me. And I have no problem saying that. So just because your standard of beauty may be like being thick and big or whatever, that doesn't mean it's my standard of beauty. It's so hilarious how people want you to accept their bodies, but then they don't want to accept yours. You want me to accept your large refrigerator-shaped body, but you don't want to accept our bodies that are at a healthy weight, that are literally supported by doctors. Literal doctors and medical associations say that you should be at the weight that what we are representing over here. And for all the people who are saying, oh my God, this is unhealthy, all these women who talk about being skinny, they have EDs. Bitch, are you a doctor? I didn't know you could diagnose people anonymously via YouTube. I didn't know that's how the medical system worked. So you've got all these people with no credentials, they have not met their own life goals, and what they'll do, I've noticed what a lot of level down women will do is, instead of focusing on fixing their own flaws, instead of focusing on improving their own lives, they would rather bash other women as a form of escapism. It makes them feel good to put down somebody that they know is privileged in society. I mean, that's really what it is. That's really why people are mad. They're mad not just because you're losing weight, but they're mad because of the thin privilege you're going to attain with that weight loss. And it's like all that person had to do was just admit to themselves that they wanted to be skinny. But no, they don't want to focus on themselves. That's too difficult. It's too difficult for them to level up. So they'd rather try to focus on whatever they think your flaws are. And I notice they want to sabotage your self-esteem. Have you ever noticed people always are coming at you from beneath you? Generally speaking, anybody who wants to destroy your self-esteem, anybody who doesn't want others to admire you, that type of person, they already feel like they're beneath you. You're already shining too bright for them. They already feel like you've left them behind socially. So that's why they're coming for you. That's why they're saying, oh, you're doing too much. Your diet is too extreme, or your lifestyle is too extreme. No, your lifestyle of mediocrity is extreme. Okay? Being mediocre is extreme. Being bypassed and not utilizing the skills and talents that I have, not living my destiny, not fulfilling my purpose, that's extreme. Living a life of failure after failure and repeating the same toxic cycles, not just with my physical health, but with my mental health, that's extreme. So it's hilarious how they call it extreme when you simply want to be at a healthy weight, or you simply want to be beautiful. And also, there's nothing wrong with somebody wanting to lose weight because they want to meet their aesthetic goals. So let's say you want to have a six-pack. Obviously you can be healthy without a six-pack, but there are some women who they do want to have a six-pack, or they do want their legs to be toned. And it is for aesthetic purposes only. Who gon' check me? Who gon' check us? You can't stop me from eating what I want to eat. You can't stop me from working out at the gym. And I think it's hilarious because it's like, okay, all this energy that people use to bash thin people, they could have used that same energy getting on a treadmill. They could have used that same energy to actually make themselves a healthy meal. And have you ever noticed that they have a tendency to call out what they think skinny people are doing wrong? They'll be like, oh, she's eating the wrong food. She's not getting enough protein. She's restricting too much. She's not showing everything that she eats. And it's like, okay, you seem to have all this knowledge about nutrition. So then where are your results? It's always the people with no results that want to try to police yours. And that's a part of why I told you guys about my hater archetype. So I talk about this on this channel. For those of you who are not Exoticals watching this, in the Exotical community, we talk about hater archetypes. So you know how people say, oh, I have a type in terms of dating. I believe that there's a such thing as having a friendship type. And then there's also a such thing as having a hater archetype. For me personally, my hater archetype is usually a leveled down woman with an inferiority complex, and usually she struggles with her body. I notice those are the women who try to police my body the most. It's always women that dislike something about their own bodies. Those are the same women who want to police my body. Those are always the women at work who are like, oh, well, you don't need to be eating soup for lunch. That's not enough food. How are you going to tell me what's not enough food? You eat 5 or 10 meals a day. You know nothing about portion control, clearly. And how about this? Let me go to the doctor, let me go get a physical, and then you go get a physical, and then let's get our results on our blood work back, and then let's compare side by side. And then we can see who really can talk the shit when it comes to health. And the thing is, too, have you ever noticed that when you are creating content about being thin, people expect you to be an absolute health expert? They're like, oh, well, you didn't get enough fiber during the day, or you didn't get enough of this type of micronutrient. And it's like, okay, so you're holding thin people to a higher standard of health. So that's actually proof that you agree with my talking point, that thin people are put on a pedestal because you're looking to me as your natural role model. So if I'm your role model, then guess what? That means I got the social power, baby. So sit down, have a seat, stay in my comments section where you belong. And for all the people who think that you're being cocky if you're skinny, you can't control how other people view themselves. Like, you don't get to control people's self-esteem level. If someone wants to be cocky, they're going to be cocky. If someone wants to brag about being skinny, or, if they're feeling themselves, if they think they look stunning, or if they want to take selfies, they're still going to do that. So randomly talking crap about them, that's not going to stop them from being skinny. Do you know how much mental strength it takes to not only lose weight, but to consistently stay within a certain amount of calories or sugars, to stick to a certain meal plan, to show up at the gym? Do you know how much mental strength that takes? So you're telling me that you've got a community of women over here in the Pretty Girl Club. You've got tens of thousands of women. We have the mental strength to lose weight. We have the mental strength to level up. But then you expect me to believe that suddenly we don't have the mental strength to withstand online trolls? Do you hear how silly that talking point sounds? And this is how I know that a lot of people who bash skinny and pretty women, those women don't feel skinny and they don't feel pretty. That's why they're bashing it. Because remember, you wouldn't bash a group that you're a part of, right? You're not going to bash women who look just like you. Okay, so that tells me that the main women who talk crap about the skinny community online, those women are women who are not skinny. Those women don't like their own bodies. They don't like how their face looks from the side. They don't like how big their cheeks are. They don't like how big the back of their neck is. They don't like that the back of their neck looks like a pack of hot dogs. Okay, so that's a personal problem, sis. I'm not going to allow other people's opinions to stop me from meeting my body goals. And this is also why I say that a lot of women, they don't have a life. So they don't have anything to be skinny for, if that makes sense. Like, nobody's taking their picture. They have nowhere to go. They don't have any fun plans going on. They don't have any friends. They don't have any friends that they can hang out with and go do exciting things. And, they don't have money, for example. So maybe they can't afford to get the dress they want or the bikini they want. So they got way bigger problems than just their weight. A lot of those women have problems with self-loathing. So that's why they want you as the thin woman. That's why they want you to loathe yourself. They're projecting. When they wake up and look in the mirror, they don't like their bodies. They're too scared. They're too much of a coward to actually go after and achieve their own body goals. And so that's why they're trying to bash random pretty thin women on the internet. I don't care if women want to be big. If they want to be big, that's fine. This is just not the channel for them. I don't care if you want to be big as long as you don't police my body. If you don't police my body, I won't police yours. But we keep the same energy over here. So anybody that talks crap towards us, oh, we're going to clap back. So we have the right to clap back. And have you ever noticed that whenever you're on a pedestal, people expect you to always be the nice girl? You know, you always have to be the bigger person. Oh, because you're skinny. And then if you say something back, then you're being a fat phobic person. And it's like, sis, you're fat phobic. Because I've seen so many women, I've seen hella women who are really big. They'll be like, oh, I don't want to date a man who's obese. I don't want to date a man who's out of shape. He needs to look like a football player. He can be a little bit padded and that's it. He needs to look like a football player. He needs to look like a pro athlete. He needs to be tall with big muscles and has to be strong. And it's like, okay, so that's a double standard. You're holding these men to a standard that you can't uphold yourself. And then you're holding skinny women to a standard that's really impossible to uphold. So do you see the projection there? And it's like, sis, you're just mad because a lot of people don't want to be like you. That's what it is. A lot of women who feel invisible, they feel overlooked. That's why they bash women who are skinny. And it's like, yeah, I don't want to be overlooked. So yeah, I don't want people to be able to look at my body and say, oh my gosh, she's bad bodied, or look at her stomach. I don't want people to be able to do that. And I have no problem admitting that. I enjoy wearing cute clothes that show off my body. I enjoy wearing shirts that have no back on it, where it's like just being held up by strings. I enjoy wearing fabrics that are very like thin and sheer, because I can actually, there is no extra fat. I'm not trying to hold in 75 pounds of fat on my torso with a teeny tiny plastic corset. So I don't want to have those problems. I don't have those problems. And I enjoy that. And I have no problem admitting that. I enjoy the fact that I can wear unforgiving clothing and still go out and actually still eat. And even if I have a food baby, I like that I still look skinny in photos. I enjoy the way that people admire my body when I'm walking down the street. And when I say admire my body, I'm not necessarily saying like lusting after me, but even when it comes to people just looking at me like, wow, you are body goals. I am somebody's body goals. Are you? Because that's how I look at my life. I enjoy putting myself on a pedestal, and I enjoy the way that people treat me as a woman that's at a healthy weight. And I have no problem saying that. You know, beauty is a form of social power. Any sort of privilege, really, is a form of social power. So I have the right to utilize my social power however I see fit. And I'm not apologizing for it. And I think that a lot of people, they're so used to content creators being politically correct. They're so used to everybody coming on the internet and being a coward and being too scared to say how they really feel. But we're not doing that over here. That's also why I have a backup channel. So just in case anything happens to this, I got my other backup channel. And it's like, all we're doing on this channel is saying what a lot of other people are thinking. For those women who are walking around and their bodies look terrible and they're walking around feeling insecure, guess what? People are noticing you're fat. You know how they say nobody cares. Nobody cares what you look like. And no, sis, nobody cares what you look like because they think you don't look good. I'm sorry to break it to you. That's what it is. Nobody cares how your body looks because they don't enjoy looking at it. Nobody cares about your appearance because they don't admire you. And I feel like it's about time that people actually come on here and say what a lot of other people are thinking. So it's like, yeah, of course you're going to say nobody cares and, you know, there's no reason to be skinny anyway. I have nowhere to go. Yeah, you have nowhere to go because society has not rewarded you with social opportunities or with, you know, whatever type of opportunities, dating opportunities, friendship opportunities. You have not received any rewards or privileges in society that make it to where you have something to look forward to. So that's why you're viewing the world through this lens of like, nobody wants me, nothing matters. Well, yeah, it's because it doesn't matter to you. And that's because other people have placed you in a box in their mind. Other people have looked down upon you. I'm just being honest. I mean, like I said, we are women of color on this channel. So we understand what it's like for people to look down on you simply based on how you look. And so to be an overweight person and to try to pretend like that's not a factor, it is a factor. People do look down on you if your body looks bad. They look down on you. Yes, there are women at the gym who are skinny and pretty who are giving you the side eye when you're doing your squats. Yes. And so that's a part of why I like being thin. I don't want to be the one where it's like, I have all these micro insecurities. And then for the people who say, oh, well, I don't care what anyone thinks of me. That's a lie. Everybody technically cares what somebody thinks of them. If you post on Facebook, if you post on social media at all, you are absolutely posting for attention. I don't care if you post good morning. How are you? Doesn't matter what you post. Everybody in this world cares about social status. Everybody in this world cares about attention. The only difference between you and me is that I chose to be honest with myself and say, hey, yeah, you know what? I don't like how I look when the back of my legs have cellulite. I don't like being insecure when my friends and family post pictures with me in it, and then I ask them to send me the picture so that I can edit it and spend 45 minutes trying to cinch in my waist, trying to cinch in my chin, doing all these crazy ass angles. I can only take a picture from a front facing angle because, if I get the angle from the side or 3/4, then my head looks like a bowling ball because it's so fat. Oh, I can't show any camera angles from underneath my chin because my chin looks like an iguana. Oh, I look like a frog at the bottom of my chin. So I have to try to do all these strategic angles. So now I can't post myself online at all. I'm scared of being seen. No, I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to have the fear of being seen. A lot of women who bash thin women, they have a fear of being seen. So that's why they're mad that you are being seen. They're mad because your body type is represented in the media. They're mad because your body type is considered body goals. They're mad because the mannequins and the clothing and the fashion industry caters to your body type. They have to go to a special store to get a size 6X. And I don't want to deal with those problems. I just feel like there are already enough problems in the world. Why would I try to create more problems for myself? Like being overweight, that is something that you cause by your diet. You're causing that by your diet or by some form of self-neglect. So it's like, no, I'm not going to neglect myself. Oh, and that's another thing too. A lot of people stereotype big people as having neglected themselves because technically you did. And that's fine. Like when I was a beluga, I did neglect myself. I didn't care about my body. I didn't care about what I put in it. I didn't care about getting protein or nutrients or having enough water. I didn't care about getting my circulation going and going on a walk or anything. So that's technically a form of self-neglect. And so when people try to bash thin women, or if they try to troll you online or say like, ew, you look ugly. Oh, you're too skinny. Those women are still neglecting themselves. That's still a form of self-neglect because they're too busy focusing on the flaws of thin women instead of them focusing on their own health. And that's why they're in the scenario they're in the first place. And for all those people who try to tell you, oh, you're too skinny. Excuse me, bitch. You don't get to tell me how to be Exoticals United. You don't get to tell me how big or small my body gets to be. Just like how I can't tell you you're too fat because that's considered improper and rude. Okay, so then you don't get to tell me that I'm too thin. You don't get to tell me, oh, well, you're just skinny. You don't have as much muscle tone as so-and-so other person. It's like, okay, that's hierarchy thinking. So now you think that fitness is a competition. Do you see how you're admitting that I'm your standard of beauty? I'm your standard of fitness. That's why you compared me to a fitness model. That's why you compared me to a bodybuilder. That's why you compared me to a celebrity who has had her boobs done or her butt done or she's had liposuction. It's because subconsciously I am your standard of beauty when it comes to body types. So that's why you're trying to place us thin women on a scale like, oh, so-and-so other person, well, she's got a six-pack and you only have a flat stomach. It's like, okay, being thin is not a competition. I'm not in a one-sided fitness competition. Do you see their inferiority complexes coming out? It's like, okay, so they're in a one-sided fitness competition with you. They're in a one-sided beauty competition with you. They're in a one-sided visibility competition with you. That's why they go around and try to bash you and start negative rumors about you. Because you're basically living the life that they wish they had. And a lot of these people, they'll lie and they'll be like, oh, well, I don't want her life. I don't want her body. I don't want to drink nasty milkshakes and, not ever be able to eat. That's a lie. You know damn well that you'd rather be 140 than 240. You know damn well that you'd rather be at a healthy weight and not be struggling with diabetes or whatever it is you're struggling with. So anytime somebody goes out of their way to try to say that, oh, there's nothing about her life that I'd want to have, that's how I know that it's the exact opposite. It's the exact opposite because nobody has to announce. If you're not jealous of someone, you don't have to go around and randomly announce, hey, I'm not jealous of you. Hey, I just want everyone to know I'm not jealous of Sarah. There's nothing about Sarah that I want for myself. I don't want to be skinny. I just want to announce to everybody that I don't want to be skinny. No, you don't have to do that if you're genuinely not jealous of thin people. So I really do feel like when it comes to weight loss, a lot of people will subconsciously try to sabotage your weight loss, and that's because they sabotage themselves. So it's not always that they're just being evil and malicious. No, it's that they sabotage themselves. And so if you hang out with self-sabotaging people, naturally you're going to end up sabotaging as well, or they might do it to you. Have you ever noticed whenever you try to lose weight, there's always a friend that says, oh, I love going out to eat. As a matter of fact, I no longer hang out with women who are too much of a foodie. So if you're a foodie, you have to be more of a healthy foodie. Like maybe you could be a vegan foodie or someone who's into like salad bars or something. But if I first meet a girl and she tells me she's a foodie, she keeps up with all the restaurants and she's bigger, I know that we are not going to be compatible as friends. She is not my friendship type. And that's okay. Everybody doesn't have to be BFFs. Just because I don't want to be your friend, it doesn't mean that I'm like prejudiced against you. It just means that I want friends that align with my lifestyle. I don't want to be around a bunch of self-sabotaging women who are below average. You know, they feel like they're below average. They feel like their life is below average, their body is below average, their face card is below average. Okay, well, I don't want to be around that. I enjoy being around beautiful, confident women who are like a mirror to me, and they reflect, they reflect the same qualities that I have. I love being around women who are more empowered because that's just more of my type. That's the environment that I enjoy being around. So if a girl tells me like, oh, well, this new restaurant just opened up and it's some greasy ass, they have hella greasy food. Everything's fried. Everything's oversized. They have like giant burgers and it's like 3 layers of burgers. They got 2 or 3 slices of bread in between the buns. I don't want to go. So I will say no. And if she says, oh, why don't you want to go? Oh, well, Sarah, it's because I'm actually, I'm trying to meet my health goals right now. I'm training in the gym and I just don't want my body to have a lot of grease in it right now. I'm trying to cleanse my body. So I want it to be a little bit more alkaline. So yeah, I'm not going to be able to go to this restaurant. Or if I do go to the restaurant, I've noticed sometimes it's even worse if you show up to the restaurant or the party and then you don't eat. Sometimes people will actually notice that even more because now you're making them question their decisions. And it's like, sis, if my lifestyle causes you to question your decisions, that means your decisions were incorrect then. So do I really want to hang out with a bunch of miserable ass women who are lost in life? No, I don't want my life to be the blind leading the blind. The fuck? No, I want to be around women who know what they want. They know that they want their bodies to look nice or they have goals. And then me and her can achieve our goals together. Like one of my friends, she's going to be coming into town in a few weeks and she really wants to like lose weight and get in shape. So we're going to be going to yoga together. We're going to go get smoothies together. We're going to go like do healthy stuff like that. So I enjoy being around the culture. My cultural background, there's a whole culture that comes with being thin, by the way. There's a whole culture that comes with being healthy and living a healthy lifestyle. So I enjoy being in the culture of healthy people. That's why I like going to Whole Foods. No, I don't think Whole Foods is overpriced 24/7 and everything there is a ripoff. No, everything at Whole Foods is actually not a ripoff. I enjoy going there and sometimes I will look at the supplement aisle and, sometimes I'll go to the salad bar and then I'll sit at the little tables. If I'm feeling exciting that day, maybe I'll get a slice of pizza or something. And then I'll just sit there and be on my phone. And then I'll get my napkin and I will dab the pizza to get off the excess grease so I don't have all that in my body. So I don't get heartburn. But it's like, that's the lifestyle that I enjoy living. So I want to be around women who also live that lifestyle. And I will tell people, I talk about this in the Patreon. By the way, if you're still listening at this point, you should probably join the Patreon. I've got a lot more skinny content in there. That's also where I do custom content. So you can ask a question, you can like request content, and then I will make an episode. But I like being around women who enjoy their own bodies. They feel confident in their own bodies. Because the more confident she is in her body, the less she's going to be worried about my body. And I've also had friends before who happened to be obese. And like when we would go out, I remember one time I went out to some bars. We went bar hopping. And so obviously there are like men there and stuff. You know, these are very swanky bars. And I just remember there were times where sometimes my friends who were big would feel like they don't fit in. So it's like, okay, so now instead of me enjoying the night and being cute and having fun with my friends, us getting drinks, whatever, instead of that, now I have to sit here and babysit and be your therapist and try to convince you that you're beautiful right here in the middle of the bar. I have to try to convince you that you don't look fat in your dress and that, you know, the back of your neck is not as fat as you think it is and your cheeks don't look that big. So I have to stand here with you, go to the bathroom with you, wait for 30 minutes while you're trying to redo your contour because your cheeks look so huge because you feel bloated. It's like that. I don't want to have to do that. I don't want to have to babysit a grown woman's diet. I don't want to have to babysit grown women's self-esteem. If this channel harms your self-esteem, by all means, please unsubscribe because I don't want you in my audience anyway. And that's okay. Everybody's not for everybody. My channel is not for everyone. And same thing with my lifestyle. My lifestyle is not for everyone. So that's why my friendship type is women who are healthy or women who are like serious about living a healthier lifestyle. If I have a friend and she's like, she doesn't want to go on a walk, she doesn't want to do anything active, that friendship's not going to last very long because that's one of my main hobbies. One of my main hobbies, and it's also a way to save money too, one of my main hobbies is doing something active. Going out on a walk, going out on a run, riding my bike somewhere, just doing something like walking around the city, walking around town, going to get like an iced latte or something, and then just, you know, kind of browsing around, getting my 10K steps. So if I had a friend and she doesn't want to do anything other than eat, and let's be honest, if somebody is extremely overweight, what are their hobbies usually? What are their hobbies? No, let's be honest. Be honest. What were your hobbies? When you were at your biggest, what were your hobbies? Did you have as many hobbies as you do now that you're healthier? Because I know that when I was chunky, I definitely did not have as many hobbies. I know that I definitely didn't have as many friends. I definitely didn't go out as much. So the motivation was not even there. I didn't like dressing up and stuff because I felt like my body never looked how I imagined it would look in my mind. I would have this whole outfit planned out in my mind. Like, oh, I'm going to wear this cute sundress and, you know, I'm going to wear a sun hat. And then when I try it on, it doesn't fit. So I just feel like with a lot of women who have this overweight mindset, that there's an issue where their expectations do not match up with their reality. So that's not the lifestyle I want to live. I'm the type of woman where I want to do everything in my power. I'm very proactive. I want to do everything in my power to try to make sure that I can meet my goals. So I may not meet my goals immediately. It might take me a long time. It actually took me a while to go back to size extra small because, you know, that was my goal, was to be back to a size extra small. The last time I was an extra small was in my early 20s. So it took me a long time to get back to it, but I kept working at it. And I never like gave up. I don't want to be around the types of women who give up on themselves. Because guess what? If you give up on yourself, you're not going to be a good friend to me. How are you going to give up on yourself? Like, if she doesn't even love herself, if she doesn't even love her own body, she doesn't even love her own diet, of course she's not going to love mine. Of course she's going to talk shit about my diet. She talks shit about herself. She talks shit to herself in the mirror every single day. So of course she's going to bash my body. Of course she's going to bash my outfits. Because that's how she speaks to herself. So that's why I don't like hanging out with women who neglect themselves. They have a lack of self-respect. Because if you don't respect yourself, you're definitely not going to respect me. And also, weight loss or weight maintenance, both of those things are achievements. And both of those things deserve respect. So if you have gained weight and let's say you lost it, you deserve respect for that. If you have maintained a healthy weight for 10, 15, 20 years, you absolutely deserve respect for that. So I don't tolerate people in my presence who disrespect my positive qualities. I think that having the discipline to be healthy, that's definitely a positive quality. I actually love that quality about myself, and I have no problem saying that. I love the fact that when I go to a coffee shop, that my instinct is to get something that's lower calorie as opposed to a big ass Frappuccino with hella extra cream and extra caramel. I like the fact that I'm mindful about what I put in my body. And it doesn't mean I'm perfect, but it does mean that I'm trying and I'm putting in effort. So I enjoy that quality about myself. So why would I then go and make friends with someone who has the exact opposite mindset? Well, of course we're not going to get along. She's going to become my frenemy at that point. So that's why you see a lot of women who are trying to lose weight and then their friends are like, oh, I got some donuts. Oh, I got this. I got that. It's like that woman doesn't realize that she's subconsciously sabotaging both herself and you. Oh, Exoticals United, are you saying that women who are overweight tend to have less confidence? Yes, that's absolutely what I'm saying. And I'll never apologize for it. Women who dislike their bodies, generally speaking, they tend to have less confidence in their body. And I'm not talking about these performative women, oh my God, body positivity. And then 6 months later, they lose 100 pounds. And it's hilarious because they'll talk about body positivity except for when you're thin. So if you already look like a model, then of course they're not going to be positive about your body. They only want to be positive about women who are shaped like a refrigerator. They don't want to be positive about women who have long, beautiful legs, long neck, no fat, a slim face. No. That's not who body positivity is for. So it's not for the people who have the privileged, the quote unquote privileged body types. Have you ever noticed that? Positivity culture is never geared towards people who are already privileged. It's always geared towards the underprivileged. And so it's like, that's why we need our own spaces then. That's why we need our own separate YouTube channels. That's why we need our own separate communities, because then we don't have to worry about trying to appease people or lie to people and be like, oh yeah, you're right, Sarah. Oh yeah, I don't like my stomach either. Actually, bitch, I love my fucking stomach. And that's the thing too. If I'm around women who are like insecure about their bodies, I can't even love myself. I can't say, oh my God, this bikini looks so cute, because then they might get triggered. They might think that I'm like bragging. And for the people who are like, oh, well, there are big people who love their life. Yeah, you might love your life, but do you love your stomach? No. In a lot of cases, you don't. Do you love your chin? Do you love your second chin? The extra one that's underneath the original one. Do you love that? No, you don't. In a lot of cases, you don't. So I think that people, they conflate, like they're trying to police our language as thin people. They're trying to police everything we say and do. And it's like, no, this is not the channel for you. You're not going to be able to police me. And also, I'm never going to stop going after my goals in life. There's a certain lifestyle that I want to be able to live. I want to be able to go backpacking in Europe and then not get cranky and irritated. When I was chunky, I would literally get irritated just by walking. So if it was a warm summer day, like let's say it's hot and I'm walking, I would get irritated because I'm hella sweaty. My armpits are sweaty. I've got pit stains on my clothes. I was basically out of shape. So I would get super tired. I would need to sit down for a couple of minutes and rest. And then I could get back up. So it's like I don't get to enjoy as much as I thought I would. I don't get to see as many sights as I wanted to. I don't want to live like that. I want to be as able-bodied as possible. And also, I don't want to waste my youth. That's another thing. A lot of people, they talk so much shit. They're like, oh, well, are you wasting your youth? If I am having an unhealthy body, then yes, I am absolutely wasting my youth. Because why would I want to live like an elderly person who can barely walk when I'm only in my 30s? Why would I want to live like I'm already 75, 80 years old? I'm over here walking with a limp, knee problems and shit. Once I lost weight, I no longer had knee problems. I no longer, like my knees were not hurting after I went on a walk or a run. No, because my whole body, it's like it just healed itself. So I'm not going to stop going after my health goals because there's a certain lifestyle I want to live. There's a certain standard that I hold myself to. And as far as friendships go, I prefer to be friends with women who hold themselves to a high standard as well. I'm not going to dim my light or sabotage my own body so somebody else can have self-esteem. Do you hear how toxic that is? It's like, why do I have to sabotage my body goals so you can feel better about yourself? That tells me that you don't really like me then. The only way that you would like me is if I didn't meet my body goals. The only way you would like me is if I'm failing at trying to be healthy. Okay, so then you're not a real friend. I'm going to be thin. I'm going to receive thin privilege. I enjoy how my body looks in clothes. I enjoy that I receive more of the princess treatment in society based on my body type. Like if I were to compare how I get treated, actually I talked about it. I think I talked about it either on the YouTube channel or on like the members page or something like that. But yeah, there definitely is a difference. As far as social experiments and stuff, I talk about more of that like behind the paywall because that's a little bit too triggering for YouTube. But yeah, there definitely is a difference in treatment. And for the people who say, "Oh, well, no, you're still going to get treated bad no matter how pretty you are. You're still going to get treated badly." It's like, okay, so what you're saying is privileges don't exist then? If everybody truly gets treated exactly the same 24/7, regardless of who you are, then that means privileges don't exist. So which one is it? Does pretty privilege exist or not? Does thin privilege exist or not? So I think that thin privilege and pretty privilege, those are two different things, but I do think that they overlap sometimes because, like, if you have a pretty face and then let's say you also have a pretty body as well, okay, then that's going to be a different experience. So for people to say that, oh, it doesn't matter, you're still going to be treated the same. No, you get treated the same. You've never had the experience of being on the other side. So of course, that's why you feel like, these privileges don't exist, is because you've never had access to them. That would be like if I said that white privilege doesn't exist because I'm not white. Like, no, just because I've never experienced being in someone else's body, that doesn't mean that their privileges don't exist. So it's pretty interesting how people who don't have access to thin privilege want to try to dictate how to be thin. Like, no, you don't get to tell me how I get to look. You don't get to tell me how skinny I get to be. And I talk about this all the time. You have the right to be as beautiful as you want to be. You have the right to do whatever you need to do to succeed. And I also see people, they talk crap about like if you get laser lipo, or let's say you got a tummy tuck, let's say you I don't know, you did some sort of beauty enhancement, some sort of external beauty enhancement. It was kind of like a cheat code. It's like, okay, well, she had the money to do that. So that's a part of financial privilege. So her financial privilege contributed to her thin privilege. And the same people talking crap, if they had the money, the first thing they would do is they would go get their double chin removed. That's the first thing they would do, is go get their neck fat removed. So that's why I don't listen to the voices of women who are like, they're being performative, or, they expect me to pretend to have hella low self-esteem. And also, let's talk about self-esteem, because I see a lot of people saying, oh, if you're trying to be thin, you have low self-esteem. Okay, and even if somebody does have low self-esteem, let's say I have low self-esteem. Okay, now what? Who gonna check me? I'm still living the life I want to live. I still look cute in my bikini with my low self-esteem ass. I still look pretty in my sundress with my low self-esteem. I still look cute from the side angle with my low self-esteem. Okay, so now what? Like, do you feel better now saying that thin women have low self-esteem? Like, what do you have to gain by randomly talking crap about thin women? That's not going to take away our thin privilege. It's not going to take away the fact that we still look good in our jeans and our bikinis. And for the people who are like, oh, well, that's not important. Okay, well, just because it's not important to others, that doesn't mean that it's not important to me. I get to decide what's important to me. I tell you guys that pretty women get treated like celebrities. And if you are at a healthy weight, a lot of people consider your body to be pretty. A lot of people consider that to be pretty body privilege. That's essentially what thin privilege is. It's pretty body privilege. Because generally speaking, the majority of people's body goals is to be at a healthy weight. So you're going to naturally get the celebrity treatment. So as you're losing weight, you have to get used to people putting a microscope on you, gossiping about you, creating rumors about you, saying negative things about you. That's just a sign that you're on a pedestal. That's actually proof that you're making progress. It's proof. They'll accuse you of editing your photos. Oh, well, you tried to cinch in your waist. Oh, well, you're wearing waist trainers. You're wearing fajas. You're doing this. You're doing that. They try to come up with all these theories as to how you became thin. And it's like, wait a minute, sis. If you don't want to be thin, why do you care about how I got thin? If you enjoy being fat, why would you want to know what my strategies were to become thin? Anyway, what do you ladies think? Let me know in the comment section, and I'll talk to you next time. Stay pretty, ladies.